Hi friends. So today I'd like to talk about what to do with this time. Bishop Robert Barron calls this time the time to be in the monastery of our homes. That's a great phrase, and that's what's going on. That's certainly what's available to us. That's the opportunity in front of us, is to be in the monastery of our homes. Now, that could be for some of our parents, with a lot of little monks running around who you're trying to bring into the Benedictine rule and get them focused, right? That's fine. That's fine. But it could also be these very quiet moments where we can ask the bigger questions on life. We're all so busy and we're running 10,000 miles an hour, and we are caught up in a lot of diversions, a lot of distractions, even a lot of entertainments. And we don't get the opportunity to ask ourselves the big questions like, why am I here? Why are we here? I mean, as Christians, I think we know what the answer is. We're here to choose God. He's already chosen us, but relationships take two, and we're here to choose Him. And specifically, we're here to become disciples, not just pew sitters, not just people who take the name Christian or the name Catholic, but actual disciples who follow Jesus and His ways, who practice and exercise the Christian life. Not just the belief, but also the heart and also the hands, the living out, right? So we're here to follow Him to heaven as disciples. Okay, so that's the first part. And the second part is to become disciple makers. Because we're here not just for ourselves, me and Jesus. We're here on mission to bring other people to Jesus too. Like the people that are in your household right now, or the neighbors who are around you. Okay? So those are the two main reasons why we're in this world, right? Are we doing them successfully? Or are we failing? And I think in a very real way, as a church in general, we've been failing. And we're seeing that. Our churches decline. We're seeing our children not go to Mass, or our grandchildren. And we're seeing, even in our own hearts, a lessening of a desire for God, a lessening of interest in Him. We're paying less attention to Him. Or something like this monastery at the home during this sequestered time can really have an effect of turning that around if we allow it. I love this image that Father Mike Smith gives. It's an image of a shoe factory. And it goes something like this. So just imagine that a company comes into town and they open a shoe factory in the best location. And not just that, they have all the right investors. They have a ton of resources, right? And not just that, they get all the best equipment to make shoes. And it goes further. They hire only the best employees with the right attitudes, who are real team makers, and they love being with one another. And they work well in teams. But then, at the end of the day, or the end of the week, or the end of the quarter, they don't produce a single shoe. Is that factory successful, or is it a failure? And we know the answer. It's a complete failure, right? Because its purpose for coming into existence was to produce shoes. Well, our purpose for coming into existence by God is to choose Him. He's already chosen us. But to choose Him. And the first step in that is to allow God to use a time like this to make us, first of all, disciples. To actually follow Him. And to give Him our hearts, our minds, our energies, our souls, our strength. To love Him with all of our being. And to follow Him every day. And I know, me and probably for you, and I've heard this from many of our parishioners, that this is what they want. Well, this time is a time to do that. And then secondly, and what flows from that, is them to become a disciple maker. Because the moment that we start the whole enterprise, the whole exercise of becoming disciples, then God will call us to call others to produce with our lives. To make our children disciples. To make our church a disciple-making church, to make our schools disciple makers, to make our friendships and disciple makers. And so we have this awesome opportunity, this difficult moment in our history. Let's not waste it. Let's not fail in the Christian enterprise to respond to this opportunity that God is calling us to. He may not have caused it, but there's all kinds of effects that can happen. Let's let that one effect, the most important one, be to become disciples. And then as we emerge from this monastery of our homes and back into our world and back into our regular lives, we're better equipped to become disciple makers, which is why you're here and why I'm here and why our churches exist. Next time we'll talk a little bit more about this, about how to be a disciple. Until then, we'll see you later, friends.